Hey, we normally don't talk draft until January because I'm lazy as hell and last minute. But Dak got hurt and I got sad as hell, so we just kind of got some draft stuff to just spitball a little bit. Jeff Cavanaugh, 105.3 The Fan, Radio in Dallas. What's good, my guy?
Oh, just watching Dak get hurt on a loop, just watching it over and over.
Like, is that
just watching the season sink slowly?
Like, is that the most depressing Cowboy injury we've ever had? Because, like, when Tony got hurt, I'd be like, damn, Tony got hurt. We'll see him in 6 weeks, collarbone. But, like, Dak got hurt, everything stopped.
I think so. And I think it's because of him.
Yeah.
Like, he's good. Romo was good, right? They're both really good players.
Right.
But it's him.
Sure.
Like, Dak is just different. For all Tony was good at, Tony was not like universally revered amongst teammates and the entire league and most fans. And I think Dak is. So it was just like,
yeah.
Plus he's supposed to be a fortress. He's supposed to be a tank. And it was like, wait, he doesn't break.
Right.
Well, none of them do until they do.
Plus, Dak was going to throw for 7,000 yards and win us a damn Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was.
So just seeing that stop immediately, I was like, damn, dog. But, we're not going to talk about Dak too long because I've already cried my tears in the closet. We just kind of going to talk about some Cowboy stuff, some roster things, and, just some early preliminary draft stuff. We're probably not going to throw around names, but like positions and things like that. Plus, I hollered at some people on the Twitter machine. They may have some questions. So let's boogie. First of all, I don't like Cowboy fans very much. Cowboy fans are very irrational. They do things like celebrate that Andy Dalton is the guy now, and I think that's incredibly irresponsible. But it is what it is. We're going to try to keep a lot of the riffraff out of this. But let me ask you this. Are you team tank or no?
Let me start with this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always team tank. Team tank is my favorite thing ever. If my team can't win a championship, I want to suck.
Sure.
And if the Mavericks would have listened to me 5 years earlier, well, I guess they wouldn't ended up with Luka. They would have ended up with different guys.
Sure.
But they wasted 5 years chasing an 8 seed, and it's stupid. It's the stupidest thing you can do in sports.
Yeah.
But this team can't tank, I don't think.
Okay.
Because, like, to me, tanking includes – okay, who do I have that has trade value? I'm going to flip them. I'm going to get some picks. And then once I get those picks, now I got rid of my good players. So now I'm going to lose games, even though we're going to try our hardest. We're going to lose games. We're going to end up with a good pick. We're going to have extra picks. It's going to be great.
Right.
The Cowboys don't have those players to trade.
Mm-hmm.
The only guy I can think of that's tradable that could get you something decent is Michael Gallup. And I don't want to hear that crap.
Right.
That would be stupid. So all they can, I mean, they might accidentally tank. They might just not be able to protect well enough, and Andy Dalton's not good enough, and that may be good enough to tank. But they can't really tank. But I love tanking; it's my favorite thing. I like to send out the Giphy Jiffy of the tank that's on the ice sliding around a corner.
Right.
It makes me happy to send that out, but I don't think they can. Plus, the division sucks, so go try to win.
See, man, my whole thing is that you're either trying to build a team or you're trying to win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's one of the two. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, we're trying to win a Super Bowl. Like we're bad right now, but I need D-Law if that makes sense. I need Van Der Esch when he's healthy if that makes sense because like you need Tyrone Crawford. Like he's terrible, but if something catastrophic happens, like he's a dude that can line up and do something for you, even if he's getting whooped out there. So I'm not trying to necessarily give guys away, but there has to be a balance. And I was looking at this team, dude, and I was like, man, look, this defense is so bad, and this offensive line is kind of like patchwork or whatever, and all your best players are gone. But Dak is so Hercules. Like, Dak is so incredible. He somehow can put 40 points on somebody. Jeff, I was like, if we can get our defense to, like, 28th ranked, we'll win the damn Super Bowl. If we can get to 28th. I don't think Dalton is capable of scoring 35 points a game, even with the talent that we have. You know what I mean?
No, I don't either. I guess I'm kind of hopeful. Really, the beauty of the rest of this season is I don't care. Like, if Dalton plays well and they win the division, cool. You get to play in the playoffs.
Sure.
And if Dalton can't play with no protection and he's not good enough and you go 5-11, cool. Let's draft and we'll run it back next year. Mm-hmm. The Dak thing, I think, is the most important thing because for all the haters and the fact that for now multiple years they didn't get a deal done, he's he's still yours as long as you want him. They're going to tag him again, whether that means they're going to tag him and trade him, get a long-term deal done, whatever.
Sure.
For the moment, you have a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, and I can still do the thing where I draw up, okay, I'm going into next year, Tyron is back, Lyle Collins is back, and you're not a bad team.
Right.
So it's like, okay, what you really need is Trayvon Diggs to keep getting better, Tyler Biotish to become a good center. Like, that's what you need, is this draft class to fill out. Van Der Esch comes back and he can still play. You have a good draft, and you're right back at it. And you get a chance to be really good. The only reason they're not really good is because the whole damn team got broken.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, God, both tackles, Jarwin, your two best corners.
Yeah.
Dak now. It's everybody. Leighton. Yeah. It's insanity. And so it's not like they're far away. And I guess this kind of happened because I forget you DM me something or other. I think it was just like tank or not.
Yeah.
And it was like, hell, I don't know. Hell, let's just do a video. Yeah. let's just talk about it.
Well, I was thinking about it, right? I was like, yo, like, this sucks. But like, the Niners went to a Super Bowl because their team was good. Jimmy got hurt, then they got Nick Bosa. And I'm like, damn, dog, we're like one situation like that. You know what I mean? Just, from that happening. So let me ask you this, though. Philosophy question, right? Would you rather the better player or the options? Let me explain. Because if you just bad and you tank and you get a top 5 pick, the guys at the top 5, you probably got 3 quarterbacks, you probably got the Penn State linebacker, and a gang of receivers. You really don't need that. But if you drafting way at like 28, you got options. You can get safety involved. You can get, any kind of combination of D linemen. You can trade around, you know what I mean? So what's more important for you? Because if it was like last year, like at like 8th overall, like we got to get Derek Brown or so if it's 8th overall. But if CD falls to you at 17, it becomes clear. You see what I mean? So what you think?
Yeah. I think, gosh, I guess it depends on the year because, God, even the taco year, somebody did fall to you. They just didn't pick him. TJ Watt was there. Yeah. So one of the things that is fascinating to me about the draft is all the studies on what happens when people trade up, what happens when they trade down. And long story short, trading down wins.
Sure.
Now, that doesn't mean every time because you could be better at evaluating than somebody else. You could be going up for the right guy. You could trade up for Julio Jones.
Right.
Or you could trade up for Sammy Watkins and give up picks to do it. And then the next team that picks a wide receiver takes Mike Evans, and you got the inferior player and you paid a premium to do it. Yeah. So, like, trading down generally wins. So I'd much rather have the higher pick where I have those options. Because now my options are, and this defense does need, and I'm not saying you have to pick in the top 10 to find them, but this defense needs stars.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the Super Bowl contenders every year, you can find guys on that team that are either rookies or second-year guys that are studs, that are second, third, fourth round. And it's one of the things that really pulls teams up. You got coaching, you got quarterback play, but also you get that roster that gets stacked with dudes that aren't making much money. It's such a massive advantage. Yeah. So I would like to have that high pick and then trade it and move down.
Come on, man.
That's what I want to do. That's what I want.
But the Browns do that all the time, right? Like they'll have Pat Mahomes and then they'll trade away and end up.
You got to be able to evaluate and pick the right players for sure. Yeah. For sure. I've seen studies where they basically run all of them, and it's like what wins on average. And on average, trading down is the right idea because teams aren't as good at evaluating as they think they are.
Yeah.
And so you'd rather have 3 picks than 1 pick.
So let me ask you, so why is that? Like, why? Because I'm part of this underground draft thing to where, like, I feel like every time I say something, I'm right. There is no way Titus Howard should be drafted in front of Cody Ford. You know what I mean? But these professionals that make all the money to do it, they seem to be in concert with bad ideas. A.J. Terrell is not a first-round pick. And all of the underground guys are like, yo, A.J. Terrell is not a first-round pick. But there seems to be the reports going around the league, 6 teams like A.J. Terrell in the first round. Then he gets his ass kicked, and CeeDee Lamb is the best wide receiver in the league. You see what I mean?
I try to fight against that so hard because, like, one of the guys that I did a podcast with for a while, and that is a buddy of mine, is Dane Brugler at The Athletic, and he does this draft stuff, but a lot of his stuff that he tells me will come from, like, NFL scouts. Yeah. And he's like, dude, and he told me, he said, teams like A.J. Terrell, he might not make it to the Cowboys. And I told him as soon as he told me that, I said, I hope not. Because if they pick him, I'm going to be like, what are you doing? Right. And look, he might end up being a really good player, but I don't know. I think part of it is NFL scouts don't get to just scout.
Yeah.
Like, I bet there were scouts with the Cowboys who were like, TJ Watt's a baller. But then you run it up and it's like, all right, well, Rod said that he doesn't have his hand on the ground, so get him out of here. And it's like, well, do you want me to scout the players or not?
Right.
Because that's all I can do.
Right.
And it's amazing because I think there's a lot of people out there, and I count you among them and I count me among them, where these players get either over or under drafted, and it feels like we're right a lot.
Yeah.
Like, that guy should have still been there.
Yeah.
Or, oh, that was a bet. Colton Miller got picked in the top 10 or whatever. And I was like, he can't block.
Sure.
He's an awful player. I don't know what people are doing. And I don't know. I think it's that scouts have so much other crap that they have to deal with the coaching staff weighing in on stuff. And then the GM's got the guys he likes, or a college coach is telling him something. And I think sometimes less is more. Yeah. Like, you and I will never be able to. I couldn't have hit the Treadwell pick right. I screwed that one up, and I'll just own it. Sure. But I couldn't have known that the dude had to line up on the sideline where his coaches are so they could tell him what to do on every play, and that he couldn't learn a playbook. There's no way for me to know that. So NFL teams can have more information, but I also feel like they have to deal with more crap, and they screw stuff up. That is Desmond King. You remember Desmond King when he was at Iowa, the corner?
Yeah.
God, he was a baller. And I was like, okay, he's too small, he's too slow, so the NFL is going to pick him in like the 4th or 5th round, and he should go somewhere at like the end of 1. Right. And sure enough, it happens, and he starts going to Pro Bowls, and it's like, I don't know. This is doable. I think people just need to remember, just because someone has a job doesn't mean they're better at that job than someone who doesn't have it. There's nepotism everywhere.
That is really bad for my ego, bro. Because I say stuff like this all the time. Like, yeah, like Desmond, like, even though he was slow, but he was smart. But like guys like Tease Tabor are slow, but they just like, yeah, he's just slow. But he's swaggy and he got long arms, and his name is Tease, so they're gonna overdrive. I don't get it. I don't get it. But you know.
Yeah, it's I don't know, but it's and Tabor was a miss for me too. I was like, no, dude, he's a good zone player, and I don't see people run away from him on tape. But that one was like, okay, I got to remember outside corners. If you can't run in at least a 4.6 flat, I got to be real hesitant. And that screwed me up with Cameron Dantzler this year. Because he was a ball. He shut Jamar Chase down.
But he fits though, right? Like long as he gets to be a long dude, like that cover 3 type of deal, long as he's doing stuff like that, he's good. But you don't ask him to go cover slot guys, you know? You just got to know what, you know? Yeah.
And I did. I dropped him around. I was like 40 time. I dropped him around, and Broadus was like, what are you doing? Trust your eyes, you idiot. And I was like, I trusted my eyes with Tabor, and I was wrong. I'm scared of a slow corner that's going to play outside. Desmond King, I can get away with it. I'm going to be in the slot. I'm going to be physical. I'm going to play the run. I'm going to be the nickel. I can shift side to side. And I was just like, I got scared of him. And so I'll watch his career, and I'll see what am I doing with corners? Because I trust my eyes. I just really want all of them to run at least in the 4.5 so I can be like, okay, don't care. You're good.
Sure. Let me ask you a Cowboy question there, man. What young guys on this team will keep you from drafting at a certain, you know, like does Tristan Hill keep you from going 3 tech, you know?
Hell no. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because my answer to that is I think it's going to be so easy for the Cowboys to just pick the best player available.
Sure.
I mean, unless it's a receiver.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't do a running back. Quarterback's the interesting one, but
please no.
Right, I agree. Right. But I don't know how the organization really feels. D end, hell yes.
Yeah.
D tackle, hell yes. Pick them. Well, let me come back to one in a second. Cornerback, pick them. Safety, pick them.
Yeah.
Offensive line is a little bit tricky. The ones that are the trickiest that I think are worth talking about: linebacker,
sure,
offensive tackle.
So I have written down here, if we draft linebacker, do we sit Jalen? Because Jalen kind of gets up and down a little bit. Apparently, when nobody was at camp, Jalen was having the best camp we've ever seen. Apparently, but then he has 3 of the worst games I've ever seen, and people are like, oh, Vach, what about the game versus the Giants? Jalen looked like he played against an offense that he's seen before, and that Jason Garrett offense is a team that he's practiced against. So I'm not cutting Jalen that much bail, and he's made his money, But damn, a lot of times we lose. I'm looking right at Jalen, like they're getting blocks right on that dude, and he's running into blocks sometimes, or they're just misdirecting his life away, and it makes me sick. So if we are at like 5 overall, and like the Penn State kid is there, the linebacker's there, Parsons, he's there. Do we go there and just sit him because Van Der Esch is cool when his neck is cool? What do you think?
I would do it. I would do it. And so I guess it depends on the question. I would absolutely do it. I wonder if they would. Would they sit their money? And Jerry, like, there's two truths about Jerry. One is if you think Jerry doesn't care about winning, you're wrong.
Right.
But two is if you think marketing doesn't play a factor in every decision, you're also wrong. Yeah. So, like, I think Jalen Smith got that money because he had a good 2018 season. They love the story. They want to justify the pick.
Right.
Like, so he gets this contract. And that stuff matters to Jerry. So do the Cowboys want to take him off the field? Probably not. But just answering like, what would you do or what should you do? Yeah, you take Micah Parsons all day and you park Jalen's butt on the bench. And if Van Der Esch struggles or gets hurt, you can come play again. But I think a lot of teams are hesitant to put $10 million a year on the bench. And it's dumb. You don't chase bad money with bad money. You do whatever you can to try to win football games. So I would do it. Now, I want to turn around offensive tackle on you. If you had a chance to pick an offensive tackle with your first pick, but if Tyron's healthy and Lyle Collins is healthy, he doesn't get to play, are you using a first rounder on offensive tackle?
This is my thing, man. Tyron Smith is no longer a demigod, but he still is a top 3 offensive lineman that's making what, $12 million?
Yeah, bargain, and a baller. He's incredible.
Right. So what you just got to do is have a plan just in case Tyron Smith wakes up and go ouch. And one day he will indeed wake up and go ouch. And Brandon Knight, and let me be clear when I say Brandon Knight, because I can say nice things about him and people think he's a damn Pro Bowler. He's good for what you're asking him to do. You know, and he's another one of those guys that's going to have to get better this year, and then we'll see what happens. I think the big deal is left guard. What's going on at left guard, you know? And I'm of the belief that Connor Williams ain't great at left guard, but the National Football League is bad at left guard. Like, Xavier Su'a-Filo is starting somewhere in Cincinnati or whatever. He's terrible. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like, I would love if the Oregon kid is there, right? But he can play tackle and guard. So cool. Let's put him at guard, left guard, and then when Tyron wakes up and go ouch, we have a tackle plan. Or if Brandon Knight happens to be good enough, cool. In my mind, I'm just like you. This is where we relate. You want to draft receiver every year. Don't say you don't, because I hear you say it all the time.
Could you imagine Jamar Chase on this team? We go 4 wide. Let's go.
Relax, because we got Cedric Wilson now. He's gonna. We got Cedric. But let's go spread. Whatever.
5 wide.
5 wide. Let's do it. But I want to draft offensive linemen every single year, and it sounds terrible, but that's like 46% of your damn offense, and we've seen it. That okay, we could be going against Aaron Donald. Okay, it ain't Aaron Donald. Okay, it's Jaron Reed this week. Okay, it's Grady Jarrett this week, and they'll match up you to death. Okay, the interior's safe, but Myles Garrett is a gangster over there. So in my mind, I want all my offensive linemen to be great. But Jeff, this is my big problem. On offense, we have first-round picks invested in CeeDee Lamb. Most of your offensive tackles, your running back, we
right guard,
all that. Defense, we got a first-round pick, a couple seconds. Anthony Brown's like a 5th or something. We have nothing invested in this defense. Let me ask you this. Best player available at whatever the hell we end up drafting in the first round. That makes sense. But where do you account, like, what if the best player is our offensive guy, but we need defense? What do you think?
Can we compromise if the best player available is a guard? Are we okay? Can we pick him?
Man, this is the worst defense I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're totally right. And I think that's what's really hurting them right now is they pick offensive linemen most years. Just Connor Williams in the second round was a miss. Connor McGovern, I'm not writing off yet. Please put him in. Play Martin at tackle for the rest of the year. Let me see what he has. I think what happens so many times is when a new coaching staff comes in and it's not their guy, you almost have to force them to play him.
Sure.
Like, even if they're undrafted free agents. Terrence Steele, that's McCarthy's staff. They picked him up. They didn't pick up McGovern. So that's who's going to play. And I think it's insane, but that's what happens. I want McGovern on the field, and I want to see what he's got. Because that's your way out of this, is Biotish can play and McGovern can play. And then you're on the doorstep and you're okay. I'm with you that I will lean defense, but I've seen way too many times where you say, okay, let's say you're picking, who cares, 15th.
Sure.
The ninth best player on our board is a guard. He's available.
Yeah.
And we're 15th. The next best player is, let's see, 1 through 8 went, and 10 through whatever is like the 15th or 16th best player.
Yeah.
Do I want to skip 6 players on my board or that distance and pick the guy that I quote need because my defense needs it? I think too often you're going to look back 2 or 3 years from now, watch that dude be dominating somewhere, and you're like, what the hell did we do?
Yeah.
So if it's close, yeah, I lean defense, but I hate intentionally leaving somebody on the board unless they're totally blocked on your team.
Yeah, but then I also think too, though, like unless you're getting like one of those top tier guys, rookies really don't help you year one like that anyway. You know, so what you really need is the guys from the last few drafts to really like, for them to be great. Because let me transition here. There's some knucklehead ass Cowboy fans that think that you should have. That's what you get for drafting a receiver at 17. You should have gone defense. And I ask them, right, because I like to make people look stupid. What defender would you get at 17 that's helping you better than CeeDee Lamb right now? And CeeDee Lamb is, he's helping you, not helping you on defense very much. But Chason not gonna help you like that. I mean, what, you gonna reach and go safety? Like what guy would you have gotten? So sometimes it's just clear cut that you just gotta go BPA and there's nothing else you can do about it. And you just gotta fill out the rest of your team the best you can. Let me ask you this though, man. You said something and it just kind of, I just wrote this down and my pen ran out of ink as I was writing it, but I could see the etches in it. Listen. And this ain't even draft right now. We can tie it into it. But does this coaching staff have an ego problem, right? Because we go back to underground people and what we think. And if somebody tap Vach on the shoulder, on this shoulder in particular, they say, well, Vach, going into this year, if something happens to Tyron, what do you think we do at the tackle position? Or if something happens to Lael and he's out of shape, in fact, because he's been eating crawfish sandwiches all week, what do we do? Well, in my mind, the dude that played last year, Brandon Knight, he lined up against Green Bay, played against the Jets, and he did okay. So I would imagine that the dude that starts would be that guy. But then we just get this surprising turn of events that Terrence Steele is going to run out there and play right tackle. Now, in my mind, Jeff, Terrence Steele was kind of whack at Texas Tech, and then he's a Senior Bowl guy, and I watch everybody kick his ass in the Senior Bowl, and then he goes in the Senior Bowl game, and Bradley and Knight gets 3 sacks on him. I was like, there's no way the turnaround on Terrence Steele is good enough to be better than Brandon Knight. So let me ask you this. Is that an ego problem? Like why we cutting Ha Clinton Dix? Like why we got to put Darian Thompson out there? Like what's going on with these guys, Jeff?
I think it's 100% an ego thing. I think a lot of, man, and you can tie this in so many ways. Everybody has some sort of ego, right? Like I'm a down to earth, humble person, but I think I'm good at what I do. And if somebody tried to tell me how to do what I do, I'd be like, I'm pretty damn good at it. Thanks for your input anyway. Right. Boy, coaches are at the top of massive egos. I mean, think about how long in the NFL. Do you remember the McCarthy quote before the year where it was like players over scheme?
We're going to get the best play, and we're going to adapt to them. We haven't adapted yet, Jeff. Go ahead, sir.
See, and I think what he said was right. Now, defense, they definitely haven't adapted.
Sure.
But what he said was right. But we've been watching an NFL where that's not true with the coaches our entire lives.
Yeah.
If a coach comes in, if a defensive coach comes into a team and he's a 3-4 or a 4-3 guy, you know that 90% of the time that team's about to run that defense, whether the personnel says to or not. It's ego.
Sure.
It's ego or it's bad coaches who aren't able to do something other than what they do. And yeah, I think there's a ton of that in the league. I'll even relate it to the COVID stuff. The head coaches are the greatest risk to get that crap because they're the ones who don't care. They're the ones who, man, if you've been to the combine or the Senior Bowl, those dudes, the owners and the GMs live a lifestyle and they're not stopping that lifestyle. Mm-hmm. They're going where they're going and eating and drinking and having themselves a time. Yes, egos are monstrous in pro football, and it's a problem.
I mean, because look, I think Joe Looney's terrible, right? My bad. Great dude though, funny as hell, good dude.
Every Thursday at 4:40 on 105.3 The Fan. He's a great interview.
Shouts out to Joe, full of personality, right? But I'm like, yo, man, can we just get this this Tyler process started, but there's something that's keeping that from happening, right? Like even with the whole Zach Martin plays tackle, and people tap me on the shoulder because look, I've been incredibly, patient with Jason Garrett, so I'm not fire coach guy, but it shouldn't be terror threat level orange to get Zach Martin at right tackle, and when he gets there, he looks good. He looks good. So I'm like, okay, cool. What do we got to do to get Zach Martin at right tackle? We got to start Connor McGovern because, look, I would rather Connor McGovern at right guard than damn Terrence Steele at right tackle. So what we got to do? Do I have to purposely food poison somebody again to get Zach Martin out there, man?
I guess. I mean, I'm with you. I think their best offensive line again, I fall into a trap too often. Mm-hmm. With these guys who they're professionals. And I think, man, it's so cocky to assume you know more than pro coaches. And I don't even get to watch practice, right? I don't see it.
Right.
And so people were asking me about Neville Gallimore. Why is he not playing? I was like, well, at Oklahoma, he kind of got bullied. So I'd imagine in practice it's the same thing. And it's just going to take him a while to develop. Mm-hmm. And people came back with, right, but Steele played overnight. So are you sure that's what's happening? And I'm like, that's a damn good point.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe the coaches are stupid. I don't know. Zach Martin at right tackle and Connor McGovern at right guard gives you the best chance to have a decent to good offensive line from what I know and from what I've seen of Connor McGovern on tape at Penn State. So I would love to see that. And the fact that they keep running Terrence Steele out there, I don't know, man. It's coaches and their guys, and it drives me bonkers.
I don't know. Who am I? I am just a YouTuber. What else I got on this list? Chase. Do you think that Sean Lee being on the field would make Jalen Smith play better? Because Sean Lee can tell everybody what to do, then everybody else will just run in the direction that Sean Lee tells them to go?
Actually, yes. I think either Sean Lee or Leighton Vander Esch. I think the headset being on Jalen Smith is a problem. Mm-hmm. I think you can look at, you said it, this week Jalen played well, but the week before you can look at when they got guys going in motion and stuff, and you've got like three people confused, and sometimes somebody's trying to tell Jalen where to go, and sometimes he's thinking about telling somebody where to go, and I don't think that's for him. I think getting the little green sticker and the microphone on either Vander Esch or Sean Lee, I think absolutely that helps Jalen and it helps the defense, because I think they're too slow reacting to what people are doing with him calling it.
Sure. We got some Twitter questions then. I'm going to holler at my peoples on the Twitter machine, and we're going to get up out of here and take a look at the end of some football. And we got football on Tuesday, so I think we had COVID on purpose just so we can have football for every day of the week. Don't listen to my Illuminati theory. How do you rank, when we're going into the draft? We've been talking about BPA, sure, but what positions do you prioritize? Like, give me like three of them in order.
Okay. I'm going to take that question as who do you hope is the BPA when the Cowboys are picking?
Sure.
That's what I'm going to take that as.
Sure.
God, there's so many options. Okay. Defensive end, Tank will at least be here. Hopefully you'll have Gregory. Defensive tackle, you have nothing. Yeah. The good thing about defensive tackle is every year I've been doing this for 6 years. Sure. I can find you a fat guy. I can find you a nose tackle, and I can find him in the 4th round every year. Just pick the one I tell you, you'll be fine. Okay, defensive end, corner. You got Diggs. Robinson's a safety. Corner's going to be one of the top 3.
Sure.
Because you're going to lose Cheeto. You're going to lose Jordan Lewis.
Maybe 2 times of the top 3. Maybe twice. Maybe got to double down on corner. Yep.
So corner is in my top 3. Corner, safety, D tackle.
O-line, linebacker. Oof.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is you can name so many, but like I'll take linebacker out of my top 3 only because in a perfect world where your guys are healthy,
sure.
If I have to start Jalen and Vander Esch, okay. Once upon a time that was actually good. But I don't know who the hell I'm starting at corner. Xavier Woods' contract is up. I don't know who the hell I'm starting at safety. And at defensive end, I got one good one that's not getting me enough sacks. Hopefully Gregory's going to give you something, and you can count on him next year. But other than that, I got a Nye maybe.
Yeah.
I'll say D tackle, but if it's actually like a top 10 pick, I'd go D end over D tackle.
Sure.
So I'll go corner, safety, D tackle.
Byron and Diggs together would have been crazy.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice to have a good corner? That would have been fun.
Oh goodness, it would have been so like. I had stuff written down, but every time you say something, I just branch off into something else, and I just write something else down. You were talking about fat kids running outside, right? And I never was big fan of trash can full of dirt fat kid one text because like teams just outside zone those dudes to death, and they just don't exist anymore. So like the thing about Duntari, what got my hopes up was I thought he was like Memphis dude. You know what I mean? I thought he was like, oh, I'm quick. I can run touchdowns. I can throw touchdowns. I'm Duntari Poe. But he's not that dude no more. And we saw a whole bunch of Duntari getting free but not being fast enough to chase people on the outside. So like, do you have a theory on fat kids one tech D tackles? Like
yeah, I like to have one good one technique on my roster, and I like him to be on a rookie deal.
Sure.
Like there's, occasionally there's a special one. Like I would have taken Vita Vea with the top 15 pick, no problem.
Vita Vea special.
Yeah, and he's now probably the best nose tackle in the league, and hopefully get well soon. He got hurt this week.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys, like I'm just trying to go through my head and remember some of the names. They're like people won't even know their names. A lot of them, like Folo Fatakasi with the Jets.
Sure.
Good player. He's a good player. He's a nose tackle. You pick him in the 4th round, 5th round. And that's like, there's guys. Yeah. There's guys there, which is why to me, it's almost unforgivable to not have a decent one tech, because I can find one every year that makes NFL minimum wage, and they're out there, and you can go get them. And this year's been so weird because they finally broke from their tradition of everything has to be homegrown. Our guys. And they went out and spent money on proven vets, and those dudes can't play. Yeah. Griffin, Poe, Worley, McCoy got hurt. They tried to break the mold of what Cowboys are, and I was excited about it. And then it turns out none of them can play.
Yeah, I actually think we'll be fine at DN because Tank's gonna be okay. Randy's making like $38 next year altogether. So which was a smart move by the Joneses. Smart, yeah. Give him some money
again. They've extended him, I think, twice without him playing.
Yeah, and like it's not big money. It's not big money. Yeah. And when he comes back. Hey, loyalty. But so listen, let me ask you this though, because so what do we do about Alden Smith? Like, do we like give him money immediately? Because like that dude is like 280 and he's playing stand-up linebacker. And if anybody's playing this scheme correctly, it's him. And he's getting sacks in damn B gap, and he's whooping tight ends on the outside. So like we gotta bring that dude back, right?
I think it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, so I fight with people about the salary cap all the time. The salary cap is very real. Can you manipulate it in ways to sign one person that you want? Sure. You could find ways to make money to pay Alden Smith, but they've already flipped all their contract switches. Go look at what Jalen counts against the cap this year. Go look at what Tank counts against the cap this year. Did they do Martin and Tyron? Like they already brought their numbers down to clear up money for Dak's tag next year. Yeah. Which right now, if the cap doesn't go down, they got just enough. Yeah. So I don't even know what switches you start flipping next year to try to make room for Alden Smith, because if he keeps playing like this, it's $15 million a year. That's what he's making. And so like I think likely what happens is he's a 1-year guy. He gets as many sacks as he can to get as much of his incentives and that money as he can. And then he walks, and you get a 4th-round comp pick for him. I think that's the way it plays out. Because I'm with you. I'm looking around like, okay, how do I keep him? I got to keep him.
Yeah,
he's my best pass rusher, and he hadn't played football in a half decade. How do I keep him? And I don't know.
Currently, if he gets 14 sacks, then he gets a total of $4 million, which is a crazy deal. And I was like, look, there's no way Alden Smith is going to get 14 sacks. There's no way. And he's. I mean, if he's not leading anymore, he's like 2nd place or something. So he was
4 through 4, and he didn't get one this week, did he?
No.
He didn't get one. It was 2 sacks. It wasn't him. So yeah, he's only on pace for 8, 12 or 14.
Right, something like that. Something crazy like that. But and the Joneses, they haven't made a whole bunch of mistakes as of late, but that whole Zeke and Jalen contract might come back and bite us in the rump. How much guaranteed money do we owe Jalen after this year? Because I mean, if you can just kind of cut bait with that guy,
I think you would have to wait. Let me double check. But I think you would have to wait 2 more years. I think after next year, you could cut him and the dead money would just match up to what he's making that year. So you would save $0. And I don't know if you want to do that, but the year after that, you're in good shape. So enjoy your next 2 years of Jalen.
Damn. Somebody asked me on Twitter, 215 Khalil. He says top 5 linebackers, top 5 D linemen, top 5 DBs, top 5 O linemen. It's too soon, dude.
I don't know. Ask me in December.
It's too soon.
Ask me in December. Hold on. Let me see. 21. Yeah, you had to go through. No. You get out of Jalen's after next year. Yeah, you can save $5 million if you get rid of him after 2021.
All we can do is hope.
But I can't believe you guys are trying to get rid of Jalen Smith. He's such a great story. And I can't believe, Vach, that you're talking bad about Zeke. He's such a great player. He's the straw that stirs the drink.
How dope would a combination of Jonathan Taylor and Tony Pollard be? How fire would that be?
Oh, it'd be so good. And then you know what happens is here in a year or two, when one of their contracts is about to be up, we grab somebody who's a freshman in college right now, and then he goes with one of them. Yep. And then the next year, you pick another dude in like the 4th or 5th round, maybe the 6th, and then he goes with the other dude that we just got, and you just keep rolling.
That makes way too much sense. I do think we find a way to sell some dope and find a way to keep Alden Smith. I just think that it just has to happen. But I just think a lot of your auxiliary guys aren't going to exist anymore. But that's cool because we're just going to draft people and replace those auxiliary dudes. So what's the relationship between first round picks and going to go get dudes, right? So just an example, like I don't want to sell my soul to go get Adams, right? Like and Jamal Adams is a great player, fantastic box player, but damn Seahawks still rank terribly in their damn secondary. So whatever. But if you could spend a first round pick to go get a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick or a guy like Amari Cooper, then you feel good about that, right? But you don't want to just give away first round picks and miss out on CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So what's your relationship with that first round picks and people and trading players?
I'm probably a lot like the NFL. I would probably overvalue my pick too much because I just think it's so important to have dudes that are big time contributors that make nothing. Yeah. I think it's so important, especially for this team, because for this team, you're about to have Dak's going to make a ton. Zeke's money is going to hit the books. Jalen's money is going to hit the books. Tank is big money. Tyron is a great deal, but still big money. Zach's big money. LC is big money. Mm-hmm. Like, you basically have your big money guys. So I think for this team, it would be really hard to give up a 1 to go get a guy that you would then have to pay because your big money guys are here. They just got to be healthy and they got to be able to perform, which right now they're not. Right now, pretty much all of your money is on IR. So good luck, Cowboys.
Yeah. I know it's super early on like actual draft like guys or whatever, and I haven't watched too much film, but Jeff, I know you've seen this guy in passing. He's one of my sleeper guys, and I'm saying this right now, October 12th, just so everybody, you know what I mean? Last year, you watched film on Derrick Brown. I know you did because I know who you are.
I did.
And you watched Derrick Brown beat the hell out the LSU kids. You was like, damn. And then he went out there and beat the hell out the Florida kids and got a turnover. He was like, boy, Derrick Brown. And then he went to Alabama, and there was a right guard that just stifled the hell out of him, and he just looked way different. That dude comes out this year, Deontay Brown. You know about him?
I don't. I actually don't. I don't get started until December. So, like, right now I know Sewell, the Oregon tackle, Micah Parsons. I know all the receivers. I know Rashad Bateman and Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith and Rondale Moore at Purdue. Oh, yes. I know these guys. Jamar Chase, LSU's other dude that is balling right now, Terrence Marshall. I know my receivers. That's what I know.
Gotcha. Well, just if you ever go back and watch Derrick Brown versus Alabama again, there's one right guard that just wasn't scared of him and just beat the hell out of him the whole game. And and nobody's talking about him. So hopefully nobody keeps talking, and it never works out that way. Hopefully nobody keeps talking about him, and we can hopefully get that dude to play guard for us. I got one more thing for you. It's more so just a college thing, and I'm going to let you go. It's more so just college. Was last year's Alabama's offense, if Tua didn't get hurt, was that supposed to be like the greatest show on turf? Because I'm watching these dudes this year, and they're incredible this year. And I'm like, dog, if you just put Ruggs and Judy back on this thing, that's one of the greatest offenses I've ever seen ever. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because even that, like, I'll be honest, we were watching the tape on Ruggs and Judy, and your eyes also get drawn to their 2 other receivers, Devontae Smith and Waddle.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't study them like this, but just what I saw of them, I think I would have had Ruggs as the 4th ranked Alabama receiver.
Right.
And he went in the top 15.
Right.
And I think like Devontae Smith is a baller. And Waddle is electric.
Thing about Smith though is like, you can see why Judy is great, like with his, route run, and you can see why Ruggs is, because he's fast as hell, and Waddle's fast too. I don't really have a good idea what Smith is like special at, but he's making all the plays though. Like he's just making all of them. Yeah.
It was kind of like, and I think he'll probably test better than my boy Michael Gallup, but it was kind of like Gallup, where people are like, "What do you love so much?" And I'm like, "What's his weakness?"
Sure.
Like. He's, he'll run whatever you ask him to run. He's tough as nails. He'll catch it. Yep. Pretty good after the catch. Like, it's just a lot of what's he bad at? And with Devontae Smith, it's like crap. He goes down the field. He goes up on guys. He'll go across the middle. Sometimes he's good after the catch. He ran away from that guy. And I'm just like, every time it's something different. But I'm like, damn, the dude what did he have last year? Ruggs had like 700 yards, and Devontae Smith, I think, had like 1,300 yards.
Right.
He was out there killing it. That team should have been stupid good.
I don't know. We'll see about it. And we'll have another draft conversation like this closer to December. And we may do it one more time in like March or something, like pre-draft or whatever. This was fun, dude. Plug your stuff. So what, where JC105 on Twitter. And go ahead.
JC1053 on Twitter, YouTube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh. I know this is Vach territory. I'm the new kid on the block on the YouTube scene, but I'm coming for you, coming for everybody. So YouTube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh. Instagram doesn't matter. I just post pictures of food that I make. Twitch doesn't matter because I just play video games. 1053 The Fan at JC1053, YouTube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh.
All right, and this will go on his channel. I'm Vash Lombard. Jeff, I wanted to say this to your face, though, man. When we was going through a little social media turbulence with Law Nation and the people over there, we're not going to be messy because we want positive vibes, but those people over at that entity over there was kind of talking crazy about Law or whatever. You came to defense of some YouTube dudes that you never met in real life before, and you went on the radio and you shouted us all out. I consider you an ally. At first, you made me nervous because I was like, "Who is this radio dude coming over here on YouTube trying to steal these people away from us?" But I consider you an ally, my guy. So if you need anything, you need a bump of subs or whatever, man, holler at us. We got you. We got you in the streets, man. Appreciate you.
I love it. Because I'd done shows with him and Big Game James and Skywalker, and I was like, wait, these are good dudes that are literally out here working. Like people, like they're providing good Cowboys content and like just trying to do it right. And I don't get it. I don't get people trying to be dicks and try to tear people down. I just don't get it. And if you're gonna do it from your own account. Don't do it from a company account.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the YouTube thing. Has been a lot of fun. I've gotten to, I didn't really know about the Cowboys YouTube scene before I started doing it.
Yep.
And it was like, oh, cool. There's a lot of stuff out here. And so you start following people and you take in good content and try to, jump in together with people and help people grow. People are supposed to help people. Damn it. That's the rule. People help people. Let's all get money.
Hey, man, so it's a cool little thing we got over here, man. We all work together. We got opinions. We got takes. There's our news guys. I'm more so film and draft dude or whatever. And it's a cool little thing, man. So, appreciate you and welcome to the party, all right? Y'all hold it down for the Doski, Woski, the Peasky, Whiskey, man. Until next time, salute. Peace.